Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Wednesday? Oh. And all of our guests today brought to you by our title sponsor. So happy to have them aboard. Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. As we're joined now, Canucks at Utah tonight. From 100% Hockey, NHL analyst, the hockey storyteller, John Shannon. How are you, sir?
I'm great, boys. Just out Christmas shopping. I thought I'd stop and say hello. I got my little Christmas tree here.
I was just going to say we appreciate the Christmas background. Now, if you're shopping, are you near a mall? Do you have a buggy? That was one of the subjects we tackled in our first segment.
No, that's kind of why I said I was Christmas shopping. This is a bring your own bag day. Everything's a bring your own bag. So you have to bring your own bag everywhere. So I have my own bag, and we'll go from there. We'll see what I'm not really allowed to buy too much these days, because when you get to our age, Donnie, between you and your wife, we have everything already.
Yeah.
So
I wish.
What do we spend? We're just spending money on kids. That's all.
Oh, yeah. So true. So true. And good on you, John, because I have bags in my car, and usually when I go shopping, they stay in my car. I forget them, and then I have to get another bag at the store. But that's another story. Hey, John, this came up with Rick Tocchet and the Canucks. Do you think the Vancouver media versus other NHL teams is fair to the Canucks?
First of all, I just want to say I listened to Rick's argument with Drance the other day. It was as good a conversation, as entertaining as I've ever heard in a long time, and it just proved to me again how Drance is out to lunch. So
yeah.
So that's the one thing. I think the Vancouver media is critical, but I also think the Vancouver media is passionate and fair. And so that, and what's happened now in so many places is that, particularly in the United States, less in our country, is that media is controlled by the hockey club or the sports team, and you don't get balance. And I don't think we understand anymore. In our business balance. Because it's fear of retribution, it's fear of not getting passes, it's everything. And it's important to have balance in your coverage. Not everything the Canucks do is good. Not everything the Canucks do is bad. There has to be a balance. And people right now, actually people now on both sides have very thin skin. And sometimes you just have to suck it up.
Yeah, and I don't think teams realize, this is just my opinion, I think when there's criticism and it's warranted and it's backed up, I think that actually helps the product. Because at least, you just mentioned the word passion, at least there's passion there when you take that approach.
One of the things, in the 10 years that I was on Sportsnet, I would walk in and the guys that were with me would say, I got a phone call from this guy. I got a phone call from this guy. I'd say, I didn't get any phone calls. And they'd say, well, I said, because I think I'm fair. I think if what you guys do, and I got to give kudos to Rick. I think Rick talks to both sides all the time. And I think that's really important in trying to do the job. You're not just going to be a foghorn for the Canucks. You're not going to be an agent of change for the player representative or the player. I think you have to be able to go down the middle, sit on the fence, have an opinion, and be able to back up the opinion.
What's the toughest media market in the NHL? Toughest for players, teams?
I still think it's Montreal.
Yeah,
I really do. Which is amazing right now how patient they have been in Montreal with everything that's gone on there. That they haven't been to the playoffs in a long time. But I think that the fact that there's two languages and the passion of what's gone on is quite amazing to me. Exactly what happened. I think that Montreal is the most knowledgeable fan base, not just about Canadians, but about hockey. And I think that plays into why there's so much passion in the media there too.
Hey, John, you saw Jim Rutherford post-game last Saturday, Hockey Night in Canada. He says, hey, we need a couple more players if we're going to be contenders. The NHL trade freeze is tomorrow night at midnight. How aggressive is Rutherford right now, John, out there?
I don't know if he is yet. It's funny. We had a discussion amongst a group of guys that work in the media, by the way, last night to say, I think the freeze has basically started now in so many ways. And I don't think that we're going to see very much change in any team, whether it be coaches or managers or players, until the new year. It just doesn't happen at this time of year. I think there's a compassion that has existed. Guys, how many teams in the National Hockey League have single-digit losses? How many teams in the NHL have single-digit losses? I think by my count this morning there were 7, and one of those 7's the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah.
So what are we panicking about here?
Yeah. No, good point.
We just lost John.
He dropped.
Left his buggy in the parking lot, and there's an attendant all over him at this point.
He dropped.
Yeah, but he is right. Now, that's a little misleading in terms of single-digit losses. Mm-hmm. Regulation losses, yes. When you combine everything for the Canucks, it's 14. If you combine the overtime and shootout losses.
That's right.
Yeah, it's 14 overall. But he is right when it comes to regulation losses. They're one of the few teams with, hanging on, mind you, with single-digit losses at 9. I got that right? Yeah.
Yep.
16, 9, and 5. So there is that.